Hello and welcome to this little video I put together to talk about the 21st of December, Yuletide. In the Northern Hemisphere is the winter solstice. In the Southern Hemisphere it is the summer solstice. I am talking from the Northern Hemisphere and mainly about the 21st of December and some of the traditions and history about the holly, the ivy, the mistletoe, the oak tree, the Yule logs, and even Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. So this time of the year is the 21st of December in the Northern Hemisphere is the day with the shortest amount of daylight and the longest night time. And we celebrate Yuletide, the bringing in the start of the light. And one of the traditions is that with it being so dark, we come in within ourselves and we look to see the shadow work that is within, and we shine a light onto the wisdom and knowledge that we gain from going within. And with this light, we use it to shine forth, to go forward into the new year. So this is the time of great shadow work, how we can look at transforming negative into positive side of things. So this is the main emotional, spiritual work that we do with the dark hours. With the absence of light, we do go within and we actually honor the darkness within us. And when we honor this darkness, we then can see the light, and then we light the candle which guides us towards the light. And this is the time when we have the darkest night, and then with the candle it brings light, and then we start getting more and more light hours, and the dark evenings recede and become less and less until we get to the summer solstice. So it is a time to celebrate, and we celebrate the awareness of the starting of the rebirth of the sun, because the sun has got smaller and smaller and smaller, i.e. the daylight hours have got smaller and smaller. So now it is at its shortest time when there's hardly any daylight. And now we're celebrating the rebirth of the sun back into our lives, back into the life of Mother Earth. She can then start to warm the earth up. And when she warms the earth up, then plants start to become alive. And then like in the January and February, you start to get the snowdrops are coming through, and the daffodils and the crocus, because the ground has warmed up. And so they can then start growing and rebirthing and bringing colour and more light into our life. Now, talking about life, this time of the year we celebrate the dear mother who takes flight on the night of this year of the 21st of December. And in her antlers, she carries light, and she takes off on 21st of December. And with the light in her candles, she flies around the world, bringing light back into the earth. And this is where we're going to talk about Rudolph, because a little known fact, male reindeer lose their antlers in winter, and it is the females who keep their antlers during the winter. And where does Rudolph come? Well, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer shines his nose and leads the sleigh. Well, it is the dear mother who is shining her light. So this is where Rudolph comes from. He shines his light. But of course they call him Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer is male. But as I've just said, male deer lose their antlers. It is the female who keep their antlers. So in fact, it is females that pull Father Christmas's sleigh. And this is where the story comes from. Father Christmas, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, who shines his nose so clear on a foggy night and leads the way. It comes from the mother deer, the mother, the female, bringing light and warmth and refertilizing the earth. And this is where it's come from. Father Christmas, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, is a very old story based on the dear mother who takes flight. And she carries the sun's light force energy around the world, bringing light and life back into the world. So what else happens? Well, we have got the tradition of the holly, the ivy and the mistletoe and the great oak tree. Now the story goes, we have the Oak King and the Holly King, and they are forever fighting over who wins and who will preside over the life cycle of the world. And what happens is we've got the king, Oak King, who's been ruling from the summer solstice to the winter solstice. And then we have this fight between the oak tree and the holly tree. And at winter, the holly tree overcomes the oak tree and he becomes the ruler. And the holly tree is the ruler between the winter solstice all the way through the summer solstice. And excuse me, sorry. And the holly tree is a time for rest and calmness and going within. So this is a time for resting and rejuvenating. So what happens is that the holly tree is now the king until the summer, and then the oak tree and the holly tree have a fight over midsummer, and the oak tree wins, and then he becomes the ruler from midsummer solstice to the winter solstice. But we still benefit from the oak tree in a number of ways. We have the Yule tree, the Yule log. And tradition has it is that the Yule log is created from the oak tree. And in the olden days, they would bring a whole oak tree into the house and they would chop it down into wood, and there would be enough wood to keep the fire burning through the winter months. And what they would do is they would pick the largest oak log they had and put it onto the fire. Now, then tradition has it would be a person with clean hands, because it's a clean new fire, clean new start. So it would be someone with a clean hands would place the oak log onto the fire. And what they would then do to light it, they would take a piece of oak wood from the previous year, light that, and that would be burning as an ember, and they would use that to light this brand new oak log. And with this brand new oak log, it would burn for 12 days, giving warmth and heat. And this is where the 12 days of Christmas comes from, because it would be burning, and it was so large it would burn for 12 days. And then what would they do with the ash? They would take the ash and it would be then used to fertilize plants in order to help them grow. So they would plant out seeds in the spring, and they would use the ash from the oak tree that had been burning, the log that had been burning for 12 days over Christmas, and then they would use this ash, which is known as potash, and they would keep it, and then they would, when they plant their seeds in the spring, they would fertilize it with the oak tree potash to help bring life. So we've got the oak tree there. And I'm going to talk about the oak tree again, because we have the holly, the ivy and the mistletoe. Now the holly, excuse me. Now the holly is representing of the male holly oak tree, and he relates to you know, there's the strength of fighting, overcoming the oak tree. And the holly is all about stillness, rest, learning, reflecting, and he restores balance, and he restores the helping us to guide with unconditional love. The green glossy leaves of the holly tree shows that we still have a strong life force energy. So all around us looks like dead plants, but it shows that even in the death there is still positive life force energies, and the holly will turn negative emotions into positive emotions. And talking about the holly, it has red berries, but tradition has it that the holly berries used to be white, but they turned red due to the blood of Jesus Christ. And when he was crucified and his blood fell onto the holly berries and they became red, and it's the crown of thorns, the holly, prickly, around his head with the red berries. And that's why we have a wreath of holly, ivy and mistletoe and the red berries, and we'll talk about the white berries of the mistletoe in a minute. But that is why it is all about representing the blood of Jesus Christ and of Christmas. Now, talking about the ivy has heart-shaped leaves. She is female, the ivy, and she is the concept of eternity, because ivy is often found draped and twisted around dead trees and plants. So she is a sign of the soul and resurrection after death. She represents friendship and relationships. And if you wear a crown of ivy, it is known to help clear your head. And as I said, ivy is a representative of female. So we've got the holly and the ivy, male and female, the yin and the yang. But now we move on to mistletoe. The mistletoe is usually found wrapped around an oak tree. Now, we've talked about the oak tree already, about the oak and the holly and the fighting again, and the oak tree as the Yule log, feeding the fire for 12 days and then using the ash to fertilize. Now we've got the mistletoe. We find the mistletoe wrapped around the oak tree. And she is a sign of love, fertility, goodwill, and peace. And the mistletoe has the white berries, and the white berries represent the egg, which was fertilized by the male. So we have the holly berry, the male, and the female white mistletoe connecting together and creating rebirth. So the mistletoe, her eggs represent fertility. The other thing about mistletoe is that if you hang her over a front door, it is a sign of protection against evil. And also, kissing under the mistletoe, kissing, romance, fertility. So if you choose to meditate with the holly, the ivy, and the mistletoe, when you choose to meditate or think or contemplate the holly, this is where you want to focus energy on what you want to transform. And what positiveness do you want to gain over any negative thoughts and emotions? And if you have any negative thoughts and emotions, you concentrate on the holly to use your unconditional love. And what is it that you want to create? As long as it's positive, you will ask the holly to help create positive thoughts, positive energies, positive life thought, dreams and goals. And the holly will help you overcome negative thoughts and emotions. The ivy is all to do about thinking with friendships and relationships. And it's all about the ivy. It's all about, because it has heart-shaped leaves, about where you channel your love and your attention to. So have you got an entangled relationship with someone and you want to untangle it, because the ivy, she wraps herself around things. So if you've got an entangled relationship with a family member or a friend member or anyone like that, and you want to untangle it and bring back harmony and peace, we contemplate with the ivy, and she will help connect with the love and friendship and reconnect any entanglements you have. So if you've got fallen out with any friends or relations, connect with ivy. She will also help you connect with the immortal soul of all our women, for past and present. Okay, so if you want to connect with all your female relations from your past, with your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your great-great-grandmother, your great-great-great-great-grandmother, she is the one you connect with. And if you want to connect with all your future female relations, she is the one to help you connect with the female path, with all your daughters, your granddaughters, your great-granddaughters, your great-great-great-granddaughters, all the women that will come after you. She is the one who helps you connect with this immortal life. And of course, the beautiful mistletoe. If you want to connect with loved ones, you think of the mistletoe. When you talk with the mistletoe, you want to connect with love, wishing pure love, goodwill and harmony to all people throughout the world, to all animals, to all plants, to all relationships, whether they're with your friends, your family, with your neighbours, with people across the world. The mistletoe will help you connect, as long as it's for the good of all. And to do this, just imagine connecting with the mistletoe and connecting with love pouring directly from your heart out to the universe. So I hope you found this little bit of information helpful about connecting with the holly, the ivy, the mistletoe and the oak tree, and a little bit of information about Yule logs, about Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, about excuse me, the mother deer lighting up the world, the great oak log bringing light into the parlour and keeping it burning for the 12 days, and then they've got enough logs to keep you warm throughout the winter. And of course, connecting with the mistletoe for love, and the holly and the ivy. Wishing you all a wonderful winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere, and wishing you all the best, and lighting a candle towards the light. Namaste. Peace be with you all.